This is tutorial number 2. In this tutorial we're going to look at making some titles, one for the beginning of every project that you do, a title that should introduce the project that you're doing, as well as you need basic titles for giving the person watching your project some information, and then at the very end we need some titles for doing credits. So in this tutorial here we've already got our footage. It's the running video clip from tutorial number 1. So if I want to put a title at the very beginning, first thing that I want to do is go up to File, New, Title. Pretty simple. Okay, name title number 1. You can leave it as title number 1, or you can give it the name. Let's say intro. Okay, so our title screen is going to show up. Right now, the title that we see is the words are going to show up over top of the video. We don't want that for our first one. We want the title to be on a black background. So up here, there's a button that says Show Background Video. We just want to unclick that so that we just have a black background. Other things about the title program, any of these windows you can move around so that you can see the information better. Over on the left here is the basics of things that we can add to our titles. Generally, we just use a regular text bar, this typing tool that basically goes from right to left. You can type up and down or on angles. There's some other stuff that you guys can play around with if you want. Up at the top here is our selection tool. So once you've made the text and you want to click off of it or move it around, that's what we'd want to use there. Don't play around with these guys too much. The title styles, got a whole bunch of different ones that you can choose from. Let's choose the yellow one for right now. And you guys notice when I clicked on that box, it showed up on the side over here, and it's basically ready to go. So let's just say I want to make a title, and we're going to start right there. Over on the side here, it's already got the presets already designed up, so the color that it's going to be, where it's going to be located, the font, the size, all that sort of stuff. If you're wanting to change anything, of course you just have to go in here and modify them. So let's say we're doing the very first project, so we're doing an interview, so we want to say not like that, interview. Okay. So interviews can be first one. So if I click onto the selection tool, it's going to allow me to move that wherever I want it to be. We can make it smaller, we can make it longer. You can click on it, you can drag it wherever you want it to go. We can even rotate it from side to side. So as you get into more projects, you can play around with it a bit more. But for this first one, we just want to have an interview. And who do we want to interview? Let's just put in some basic black and white text. And we're going to use the text tool down here. Interview of me, Mr. Bridges. Okay, so it's kind of going off the screen, which is fine because we can always move it around later. So we want to hit the selection tool again. We want to drag our text back onto the screen. And right now, as you can tell, it's going past the square boxes that we have here. What these guys are doing is showing you the different viewing areas of smaller TVs. So if you had a widescreen TV, of course you could see the whole thing. If you had one of the older types of TVs, you'd only have these small boxes. So generally we want to make sure that any of our text goes inside these boxes so that we could see it on any TV that we're looking at. Okay, so we're going to have interview Mr. Bridges. So that's basically done. You could say of in the middle here if you wanted to, in a different font, or you can have it all the same font. It's up to you and what you want to do. So to save this, there isn't a save button. It basically does an autosave. So when you close it, our intro title is going to show up over here. Right? So if we drag it down onto our timeline, okay, an intro is like a picture. You can make it as long or as short as you want it to be. For the very first project though, we want to move our video clip out of the way and we want to move our intro to the very beginning. We usually want to have it going for about a couple of seconds. So with the clip selected, we can have a look and see if we drag our playhead. You'll notice as you move your playhead, the time changes over here. So you can see how long the clip is supposed to be. For the very first project, we usually want to make our clip last a couple of seconds so that the person can see it. So let's just say we want to go to about 5 seconds, right about there, and we'll drag our clip to meet up with the playhead. Okay, and we'll move our video clip right next to it. Okay, and so if this was your interview, you'd have your title introducing it, you'd have the interview going on, and then you would add the next title right afterwards of the next interview, and then the last one after that. At the very end, you want to add credits. So that's going to be a new title. So same sort of thing, file, new title, and we're going to say credits. Okay. So with credits, of course, it has to say credits at the top. So let's just pick a text in here. Did that go through? Choose a different one. Oh, that's where we're missing the text. Okay, so we'll put in credits here. Credits. Okay, that's a bit big. You'd want something a little bit smaller than that, but we'll use it for now. Okay, and we'd want to move credits to be in the very middle, up at the top. Okay. And then the credits underneath, so things like directed by, who are the actors, what were their names, who did the filming, who did the editing, all that sort of stuff we'd want to add in there. So we'll see if we can grab a smaller one. We'll choose this fancy guy right here, and we want a regular text. Okay, so we could say actors. Okay, make it a bit smaller. And we put that off to the side. And then underneath, you could put the person's name and what their role was in the film. So we want to do all of that for all of the major positions that we have when you go out and film. So filmed by, directed by, who the actors were, and then you and your partner who are doing the editing should all be in there. So it can be a flat, just basic one. Or other things that you can add to it is we can add a little bit of motion to it. If you look up at the top here, you've got some options. We've got new title, we've got roll and crawl, and we've got templates. Templates we usually don't worry about until you get into the senior courses, but we can look at roll and crawl. Okay, so right now this is a still one. If we turn it to roll, what that basically means is it's a kind of a Star Wars effect. You can have it start off the screen, okay, and you can change these numbers around for a bit. We'll just leave them for now so you guys can see what it looks like, and we'll say okay. We'll close this guy down, and we'll bring our credits down towards the very end. So when we have a look at the credits, we'll move this right to the very end here, and we will hit play using the space bar, and the credits are going to roll, and they're going to start at the bottom, and they're going to move up to the top.